Good morning, all of you. Today, we are going to explain to you the admission process for Class 1 admission for the session 2022-23 in Kendriya Vidyalaya number 2, OF Dehu Road School. The first thing which we have to see is the age criteria. As per the new education policy 2020, the age is revised to 6 years with effect from academic session 2022-23. So previously it used to be 5 to 7 years, but this time it will be 6 to 8 years. And the minimum age of the child as on 31st March 2022 or else 1st April 2022 will only be considered. So we have to remember that the age will be 6 to 8 years. The next thing which we should know is that Kendriya Vidyalayas are classified into 3 sectors: the defense sector, civil sector and project sector. And Kendriya Vidyalaya number 2, Dehu Road, falls under defense sector. Next thing is the sponsoring agency. The sponsoring agency of Kendriya Vidyalaya number 2, Dehu Road is Ordnance Factory, Dehu Road, and 5 seats per section are reserved for sponsoring agency quota. So in our Vidyalaya, 15 seats fall under SAQ. The next thing is that in total there are 40 seats for one section, and because we have got 3 section school, we will be having 120 students total in class 1. The bifurcation of seats of these 120 seats is as under. First one is 25% of the total seats, that is 30 seats, are reserved for right to education. Next is sponsoring agency quota, as we have discussed already. 15 seats are reserved for SAQ. Then differently abled children, 3% of the seats are reserved for special children who may be having some or the other physical disability. 4 seats are reserved for that. So if we reduce, we take out the number of seats like RT 30, sponsoring agency quota 15, and differently abled 4 out of this 120 total seats. The remaining seats are 71 seats, and we will be discussing about these 71 seats, how they will be, who will be getting it on the preference basis in the next slides. Now, if you go on the reservation of seats as per caste, for scheduled caste, 15% of the seats, that means 18 seats are reserved. For the scheduled tribes, 7.5%, that is 9 seats are reserved. And for the other backward class, non-creamy layer, 27% reservation is there. So it comes to 33 seats. This is as per the caste. But when we go to the RTE, that is right to education, 30 seats which are reserved. In that, the people who fall under the category of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward class, non-creamy layer, economically weaker sections, and below poverty line people of general category can also apply as per RTE. The requisition for this will be discussed after some time. And you also have to remember that if you are applying for RTE, your house should be within 5 kilometers of the KV, and that is radial distance, which you can search on Google Map, not as per the road distance. The next thing is service categories. So if we see, there are 5 main categories which we have to consider. The first category, the preference is given as per these category-wise things, service categories. So the central government employees, both transferable and non-transferable, fall in the first category. In the second category, employees of central government autonomous bodies, which are also called public sector undertaking, are considered. Then the category 3 has state government employees. Category 4 has employees of state government autonomous bodies, that is public sector undertaking again, and autonomous bodies are the ones which are fully sponsored or at least more than 50% funds come from the central government. And the last one is category 5, which are others, other than the first 4 categories. Mostly the private sector job people will be coming in this category. Next is number of transfers are very important for the category wise selection, and in that the preference in admission to wards is based on the number of transfers of the parent in the last 7 years. Then we see that what is considered as transfer, it is the distance should be more than 20 kilometers and the period of stay to the transferred place should be at least 6 months. Only then a transfer is considered. Now there are also some special cases which come over and above the 120 seats which we have. For single girl child, if there is only one daughter and no son, then that child is considered as single girl child. And there is one more category of people, the KV employees, children of KV employees, and even the grandchildren of KV employees and retired KV teachers get the special case benefit, and they are over and above those total seats, that is above 120. Now, in the beginning, RTE lottery is taken. The first thing which happens is RTE lottery, that is right to education. And in this, if you can see here, when the lottery is done, name of the child, which is given as ABCD here, caste category of the child, SC, ST, OBC, EWS, BPL, all are there. And here you can see selected till 30. As we have already discussed that RTE seats reserved for our school are 30. So 30 people are shown as selected and the others are put into waiting. So if any of these 30 people do not turn up or take admission in some other KV, then the next in the list, that is the 31st number, will be called. Next is the DA lottery, that is for the differently abled. As I already discussed, 4 seats are there for differently abled children. And here you can see 4 people, SC, ST, OBC general category are selected for differently abled category. Here the service category is not seen. Next is the priority list of category 1, because we are going to give preference to the people who fall in defense sector or are central government employees, transferable and non-transferable. So out of the total number of applications which have come for category 1, here you can see 71 are put together in a list, those who are selected. And this is purely done on the basis of number of transfers of the parent. So here you can see that child A got first preference because his parents' number of transfers were 7. And then in descending order 6, 5, 4, 3, like this people will be getting priority. And caste category is also seen. So category 1 has these 71 students have got their name selected for the admission. But if any one of them do not turn up for any reason, then the waiting list is there of category 1 who will be considered. After this, there is category 2. Here again, because it is the autonomous bodies of central government employees, number of transfers is seen. But as you can see, already 71 selected members were, students list was prepared. So lot number for category 2 is again starting from number 1, and all of them are shown waiting. Next is a list of scheduled caste category. Now this list is used only if the reserved seats for scheduled caste are not fulfilled by RTE 30 seats plus in the first category list if SC candidates are not found. If for example, in RTE we have got 6 seats, and in the first category, category 1 priority list, there are 6 SC candidates. Then out of 18, 12 are found and 6 will be taken from this scheduled caste category. So here again the students are of the first category students, service category, are considered, and number of transfers are also seen. So these children will get a chance, these first 6 will get a chance to be a part of the admission process because they are in the reserved category. Same goes with the list of ST category. ST category, we needed 9 people, and if 3 are there in RTE and 3 are there in the list of service category 1, then we can take 3 of these to fulfill the reservation for scheduled tribes. In the same way, OBC non-creamy layer category, again, if 33 seats were there, so if those are not fulfilled under RTE or in priority list 1, then people are, the waiting list of OBC is also considered. Next is category 3. Here the state government employee children are there, and they are all shown as waiting because priority is given to category 1 and 2 first, then category 4, and then category 5. In category 5, as there are only private candidates, they are mostly seen as waiting, and the chances of their getting admission is narrow. Now next is single girl child list, which is a special provision, and for this a lottery is done, and all the applications of single girl child are put into a draw, and the names which are selected, 6 people here you can see as selected, and they are the lucky ones who get into KVs as single girl child. Others are kept waiting. If any of these do not turn up, then from the waiting list, next number is taken up. Now the documents required for admission will be passport size photograph of the child, latest photograph, colorful, of the child should be taken, birth certificate of the child, service certificate in case of government employees, transfer details of last 7 years in case of government employees again, and here Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan website has got a format which you have to download and get printed, fill it and get it signed by the competent authority, that means your head of the institution, and that can be submitted as transfer details. Next is caste certificate for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward class non-creamy layer people. They need to have a certificate. If they do not have it in the name of the child, for the time being admission is given to them, but later on they have to get it made and then submit in the school on the name of the child. There is also below poverty line and EWS, that is economically weaker section certificate, which has to be produced if you are filling the form under that criteria. Now the residential proof, for that, if you have your own house, electricity bill or the house tax receipt can be given. If you are staying in a rented house, the rent agreement can be submitted, and if you are living in a quarter allotted by the government, then quarter allotment letter has to be submitted as residence proof. Lastly, Aadhaar card of the child and blood group certificate has to be submitted. For blood group, pathology lab provided the blood group certificate can be taken from there and submitted. Now, when we discussed about below poverty line, this is a sample of certificate which can be got. Here you can see it's from the Gram Panchayat Karyalay, and this certificate of yellow color is for the below poverty line people. Here you can see the number which has to be filled in during the admission process when you are applying for it. So this is very much required if you are trying to fill your child's application for under BPL. The next thing which we have to remember is, in Maharashtra we have got one community as NTVJ, and they are considered OBC, but for KVs you have to have a central government certificate for NTVJ. So this is a sample of that caste certificate which has to be got from the authority. Only then your child will be considered under OBC. So these were the important things which you have to remember for filling the forms, for application forms for KV admissions. I hope we are able to clear the process to you, and you will be able to fill the form without any problem. Thank you very much and have a great day.